As a dog owner, you've probably caught your furry friend doing some pretty weird things. Maybe they're spinning in circles before laying down, eating grass like a cow, or suddenly sprinting around the house like they've lost their mind. Some of these behaviors make you scratch your head and wonder, what's going on in that little dog brain? Well, you're not alone. These quirky behaviors are actually a lot more common than you think, and believe it or not, there's usually a good explanation for why dogs act this way. So, buckle up as we dive into the strange, funny, and sometimes downright bizarre things dogs do, and, more importantly, what those behaviors mean. Circling before lying down. Let's start with one of the classic dog moves, circling before they lie down. You've probably seen your dog walk in tight little circles a few times before finally plopping down for a nap. It seems unnecessary, right? So why do they do it? This behavior actually goes way back to their wild ancestors, the wolves. In the wild, circling helps create a comfortable, secure spot in tall grass or leaves. It's essentially an instinctive way for dogs to pat down their bed. Though your dog now has the luxury of soft cushions and cozy blankets, the behavior remains ingrained in their DNA. Another theory suggests that circling helps dogs ensure there are no dangers in their resting area. It's their way of making sure they're safe before they let their guard down. Even though your dog is inside the safety of your home, this ancient behavior persists. It's an evolutionary holdover, and while it might seem odd, it's completely normal. The zoom eyes, random running spree. If you've ever witnessed your dog suddenly bolt around the house, you've seen the zoom eyes in action. This burst of energy can happen after a bath, during a walk, or sometimes out of nowhere. Dogs run around at full speed, dashing in random directions, often with a wide-eyed, excited expression. But why? The zoom eyes are actually a perfectly healthy way for your dog to release pent-up energy. Think of it as their version of hitting the gym or going for a jog. Dogs, especially younger ones, can build up a lot of energy throughout the day, and sometimes they just need to let it all out at once. The scientific term for this is FRAP, frenetic random activity periods. While it may look chaotic, it's simply your dog burning off excess energy in short, intense bursts. In some cases, zoom eyes happen after periods of stress, like a bath or a vet visit, where the dog finally feels the relief of tension being released. So, the next time your dog goes wild with the zoom eyes, don't worry. It's a sign they're healthy and just blowing off some steam. Eating grass. Let's move on to one of the stranger habits, dogs eating grass. Many dog owners have been puzzled by this behavior. After all, dogs are carnivores, so why are they munching on something like grass? The truth is, there's no single explanation for this. Some dogs eat grass simply because they enjoy the texture and taste. Others may do it because their ancestors did it in the wild to get extra fiber or vitamins. Another common theory is that dogs eat grass when they're feeling nauseous and want to induce vomiting. However, research shows that only a small percentage of dogs throw up after eating grass. For most, it seems like a normal, harmless activity. It's also worth noting that grass eating doesn't usually indicate any major health problems. If it's occasional and not excessive, it's generally nothing to worry about. However, if your dog is eating a lot of grass and vomiting frequently, it might be time for a vet visit to rule out any underlying gastrointestinal issues. Otherwise, this quirky habit is just another odd but mostly harmless behavior in your dog's repertoire. Head tilting. The head tilt, possibly the cutest and most charming of all dog behaviors. Your dog is listening intently to you, and suddenly, they cock their head to one side as if they're trying to understand every word you're saying. While we'd like to think it's because they're carefully considering your instructions, the real reason is a bit different. When dogs tilt their heads, they're actually trying to better understand sounds. This helps them pinpoint where a noise is coming from or to better hear high-pitched sounds. It's a survival tactic that, again, goes back to their wild ancestors. It can also help them see better, especially if their snout blocks part of their vision. For example, dogs with longer noses may tilt their heads to get a clearer view of something directly in front of them. But there's more to it. Dogs may also tilt their heads to engage with us socially. They've learned that we respond positively when they do it. Over time, dogs may tilt their heads more often because it gets them attention, affection, or even a treat. Burying toys or food. Have you ever given your dog a new toy or treat, only to find them burying it under a pile of blankets or even in the backyard? This behavior can be traced back to their wild roots. In the wild, food was often scarce, and wolves couldn't be sure when they'd get their next meal. To avoid wasting food, they would bury it to keep it safe from scavengers or to eat later when they were hungry. Even though your dog gets regular meals, the instinct to save for later is still strong. When they bury toys or food, it's their way of preserving it for the future. Some dogs may also bury items as a way to mark their territory or simply because they enjoy the act of digging. However, if your dog is excessively burying their food, it could be a sign they're feeling anxious or insecure about their environment. In these cases, providing a consistent routine and reassuring them with attention can help alleviate this behavior. Howling. Howling is another behavior that harks back to the time when dogs lived in packs. In the wild, wolves use howling as a way to communicate with their pack over long distances. Dogs have retained this behavior and may howl for various reasons. Sometimes they hear a siren or a high-pitched noise that triggers the response. Other times, it could be out of loneliness, seeking attention, or even just a way of joining in on the conversation with other dogs or humans. Some dogs are more prone to howling than others, and certain breeds, like huskies and beagles, are known for it. If your dog is howling excessively, it might be a sign of separation anxiety or boredom. In these cases, providing more mental stimulation or leaving them with comforting distractions when you're away can help reduce the behavior. Chasing their tail. Seeing a dog chase its tail can be one of the most amusing sights. But what's behind this silly behavior? For some dogs, it's simply a playful, fun activity. They notice their tail moving and instinctively chase it. However, in some cases, tail chasing can be a sign of boredom, anxiety, or even a compulsive behavior. Puppies are more likely to chase their tails because they're still exploring their bodies and learning how everything works. However, if an adult dog starts doing this frequently or obsessively, it could be a sign of an underlying issue, like an injury, flea infestation, or stress. It's always worth checking with a vet if the behavior seems excessive. Leaning on you. Does your dog love to lean against you while you're sitting or standing? This is one of the more endearing habits dogs have, and it's actually a sign of affection and trust. When your dog leans on you, they're showing that they feel safe and comfortable with you. It's their way of saying, "I'm happy to be close to you." Leaning can also be a sign of seeking comfort. In stressful situations, your dog may lean on you for reassurance. Some breeds, like Great Danes and Greyhounds, are known for being leaners, and this is a normal part of their affectionate behavior. As we dive deeper into the peculiar habits and behaviors of bulldogs, it's essential to appreciate what makes these lovable companions so unique. First off, let's talk about their infamous snorting and snoring. Bulldogs have a distinctive brachycephalic face, which means their short noses contribute to a unique breathing pattern. This often results in loud snorts, snuffles, and snores, especially when they're relaxed or sleeping. While it can be endearing, it's essential to monitor their breathing, especially in hot weather, as they can struggle with heat regulation. Next, we have their affectionate nature. Bulldogs are known for being incredibly loyal and attached to their owners. They thrive on companionship and often prefer to be by your side at all times. This can manifest in following you around the house or wanting to snuggle up right next to you on the couch. Their love for human interaction means they're not the best candidates for being left alone for extended periods, as they can develop separation anxiety. Another interesting behavior is their sleeping habits. Bulldogs are notorious for being heavy sleepers. You might find your bulldog snoozing at odd angles or in the most unexpected places. They tend to enjoy napping throughout the day, which means you might see them dozing off right after a good play session or meal.
There we go. Good dog.
It's their way of conserving energy for when they feel like being active, even if that's just a short burst of playtime. Stubbornness is another characteristic that owners quickly learn to navigate. Bulldogs are intelligent dogs, but their independent nature can lead to moments of resistance during training. They may understand commands but choose to ignore them, especially if they don't see a reason to comply. Using positive reinforcement, like treats or praise, can help motivate them, but patience is key. Additionally, bulldogs often display a peculiar quirkiness in their behavior. Whether it's a funny way of sitting or their love for rolling around on the floor, these quirks add to their charm. Bulldogs can also be quite expressive, using their facial features to convey emotions, from excitement to mild discontent. Their wrinkled brows and droopy expressions can say a lot, making them incredibly relatable companions. Finally, let's not forget their love for food. Bulldogs can be foodies, and their willingness to indulge in treats can sometimes lead to overeating. Owners should be mindful of portion control and maintain a healthy diet to avoid obesity, which bulldogs are predisposed to. Regular exercise and mental stimulation are crucial to keep them healthy and happy. As we wrap up our discussion on bulldogs' quirky habits, it's clear that their unique personalities make them exceptional companions. If you're considering adding a bulldog to your family, or if you already have one, embracing these behaviors is part of the joy of being a bulldog owner. To help you get the best out of your bulldog experience, check out the link in the comments for an exclusive discount code on products designed specifically for bulldogs. Equip your furry friend with everything they need to thrive and enjoy every moment together. Dogs are full of quirky, strange, and sometimes baffling behaviors, but there's almost always a reason behind them. From circling before they lie down to eating grass or chasing their tails, these odd actions often stem from instincts passed down through generations. Understanding why your dog does these things not only helps you appreciate their unique personalities but also strengthens the bond between you and your furry friend. So, the next time your dog does something that seems strange, remember, it's all part of what makes them special.